Well, hello and welcome back. Today I'm sitting down with Pastor Becca. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And you are FCC's pastor of students, college, and young adults.
Yes.
They kind of gave you a whole range there.
It's the hat trick of ministries.
Why, out of all of the areas of ministry, is that the one that you decided you wanted to serve in?
Growing up, I never wanted to work with kids. Never, actually.
So great fit. Great
fit. I either wanted to be a dolphin trainer
Okay.
or a therapist.
Okay.
And then I realized I didn't want to listen to people's problems all day long, and dolphins should never be caged. So then I decided, wow, student ministry is kind of the nice blend of both. Like
dolphins and problems.
Yes, because not only do they often act like wild animals that do not want to be caged, they also have a lot of problems. And so it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So I think like around 13-ish years ago is when I started in ministry, and it was because my youth pastor at the time, I was getting ready to graduate high school. He's like, I think you'd be really good at student ministry. And I was like, I literally laughed at him. I was like, absolutely not. That's not for me. And he's like, it would be an interim position. Why wouldn't you just try? You should just apply. And I was like, no, that's not for me. And then I was like, all right, I guess I'll give it a whirl. Like, if I hate it, I'll just quit, right? And so I tried it, and it was like my very first night of ministry with students, and I was leading worship with him and with my youth pastor at the time, and I just started like bawling, like my heart just broke, and I was like, these kids need to know Jesus and how much he loves them, and like I want to be what I didn't have, and you know, all those kinds of things.
These poor little dolphins need Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah. The dolphin noises are playing in my head.
Tell me a little bit about student ministry, because it's basically just pizza and dodgeball, right?
No. I think that's a really boiled down version of student ministry. Like, there's a lot of people that have never done student ministry or jump into it, and they're just like, oh, it's easy, right? Pizza and dodgeball. And I'm like, well, no. You're like embarking on a journey with students who have a lot of emotional range, right? They're in the throes of puberty. They're going through lots of transition in life, whether it's from middle school to high school or high school to college. And then, you know, I also work with college and young adults. So it's like all these different transitions, right? And I think you have to be prepared a lot more than people give student ministry credit for. You should be well versed in mental health training. You should be well versed in understanding the laws of you know, working with minors, and you should be training your leaders to be equipped. They should be background checked and fingerprinted. You know, there's a lot that goes into student ministry that I think people don't realize. And it's, you know, I'm always learning, right? But like, I think anyone in student ministry shouldn't view it as a stepping stone to a different position in ministry.
I think that's really common. Like, how do you feel about that? Because I think a lot of pastors will sometimes go the youth pastor route to then become a real pastor.
It's like their foot in the door.
Yeah.
And personally, it's kind of like, you know, when people are like, oh, I'm a Christian, but then they're kind of a jerk to everyone around them. I'm not saying that that's all youth pastors using it as a stepping stone, but it's kind of the same. Like, can you please not do that?
Yeah.
Like, these students need consistency. They need reliability, dependability. They need people that care about them.
Yeah.
And if you're viewing this as a stepping stone to a better position in ministry, like, please don't. Like, I think student pastors should have high EQ. They should really be able to kind of have a sense or a vibe of what's going on amongst their students on any given night. They have to be flexible. That's something that's hard for me. Like, I've had to learn how to be flexible. Like, it's not something that comes naturally to me. I'm like, well, here's the plan, you know, but student ministry never goes according to plan. So we have guardrails, right? Of like, here's how the basics of the night should go. Here's an agenda, or not an agenda, a schedule, if you will. We're going to try and loosely stick to it, but you know, ministry ebbs and flows, and students, you kind of have to feel the energy. Are they just not feeling it tonight? Were they all overworked at school? Is it the middle of final season? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, and you have to be willing to flex. And I think people that use ministry, like student ministry, as a stepping stone to a greater position don't always care about that. They just come in, they're like, here's what I need to teach you before I step into my next position.
Yeah.
And I don't really like that.
Yeah. It
does a lot more harm than good.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of our students already struggle with abandonment issues and other mental health disorders. And so for you to come in and sort of quasi build a relationship with them and then leave after a year or two, like, it's doing more harm than good.
Yeah. How do you sort of navigate that? Because it sounds like there's a non-zero amount of pizza and dodgeball. But then there's also like really heavy things like mental health, and you mentioned abandonment issues and really serious topics. And it sounds like you cover a wide range of emotion on a given Wednesday night.
Yeah. Lots of highs and lots of lows. And I think the best thing you can do is take care of your own mental health. I think that's something as pastors or people that just work in ministry, sometimes we forget to do that. Like, we don't take care of ourselves. It's really easy to be like, I don't have time. But like, if you're not taking care of yourself, like, you're not going to be able to take care of other people. And students need a lot of care. They need someone to listen to them and all of their emotions. And so I would say that's priority number one, take care of yourself, and then also really train up your leaders well. Give them the trainings that they need to know, what do I do if there's a student that is suicidal? What do I do if there's a student that's self-harming? What do I do if there's a student that has big questions I don't know how to answer? Like, those are trainings you should have on a regular basis with your leaders, and have an open conversation and good relationships with your leaders so they know that they can come talk to you at any given time. Personally, another thing that I find really important is, like, I want my leaders to make at least a year commitment, because anything under 7 months is more harmful than helpful when it comes to working with students. Most of them stay longer than a year, which is even better, but they have to be involved in a student's life for at least more than a year for them to, like, be willing for me to, give them an application and stuff like that. Obviously, if something major pops up, like, there's grace there, right? But all said and done, like, we want our leaders to be invested in our students, and we want this to be a community, a family for them, because a lot of our students don't have, all the family parts that they need for normal development. And so we try to fill those gaps, whether it's going to a softball game or, creating our own family Thanksgiving table. We were just talking about that earlier, different things like that to fill in some of these gaps.
So it sounds like volunteering is like super important with student ministry. Like, if someone's watching this, I keep using this example because I think it's the common mindset, but like, they're like, oh, student ministry, I could eat pizza and play dodgeball, right? But then some of this heavier stuff, they're like, oh, I don't know if I can, if I'm qualified to do that, if I can handle that,
right?
Like how do you approach some of that stuff with your volunteers who aren't here throughout the week? They don't have the same training that you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy to find solid trainings. Like, there's mandated reporter trainings online. There's like, I've got my own set of trainings that I've picked up over the years, and so I just make sure that they feel equipped. And then I always create an open dialogue. Like, hey, if you have questions or something doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask. Like, I have an open door policy with that kind of stuff. Like, I'd rather you ask the question than sit there and be like, oh, I don't know what to do, right? And then one of the other things I think is important is sometimes as Christians, we feel like we have to have the answer to everything. But, like, we're all just making our best educated guess, right? Like, at the end of the day. So with my leaders, if they're asked a question that they don't know the answer, I always tell them it's okay to say, I don't know. Can I think about that and get back to you? And then we can talk about it together, right? I've heard pretty much, I would like to say I've heard it all. I don't like to say that, though, because then inevitably I hear something I've never heard, and I'm like, wow. But, like, you know what I mean?
Like, I haven't heard that combination of words in that order before.
Yes, and, like, now I'm going to sit there while my brain broke for a minute, you know? But, like, ultimately we can come to some kind of agreement together, or some kind of understanding together, or some kind of helpful answer together. And, you know, I never want a student to feel alone. So if they're struggling to talk to their parents about something, or I always offer to go with them. Or if a leader is struggling to talk to a student about something, or vice versa, like, or if a student's struggling to talk to a student about something, like, you always offer to go with them. It's really just about creating a community of support. So, I don't know. I think it seems really basic when you talk about it, but in actuality, it's a lot more than just pizza and dodgeball. It's like being willing to week in and week out show up for them, stepping out of your comfort zone and going to their sporting events and checking in on them, or remembering the things that they say, and like, oh, I remember last week you said your mom was sick and I've been praying, how's she feeling,
Yeah.
It's remembering those details and willing to be invested in someone else's life on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
You're not just here to relive your glory years of being in high school, right? Like, also that never works out.
Yeah.
So.
Is there anything that, like, just about your journey that you think would be really encouraging, especially since this is like our episode about meeting the student pastor, student young adult, and college, of course, that you feel like would be pertinent or important for people in your ministry to hear, that, like, or people potentially that are viewing this online, considering taking those first steps into coming to a ministry here at SEC?
Yeah. I think that it's really important for people to know that they're a lot more capable than they think they are. I think a lot of people, whether subliminally or not, feel like they're incapable of things, like leading a Bible study or having a healthy discussion or resolving a conflict or whatever it may be, being a female pastor. But honestly, with the right support, with, safe spaces, you are a lot more qualified or capable, and I think qualified, than you think you are. And I believe that we all have a God-given purpose. And when we find that God-given purpose, like, the world just sort of opens up in a really beautiful way. I never thought I would be a pastor. Like, that wasn't something that I was like, oh, I'm going to do this when I was a kid. Like, that was never on my radar. But God knew. And when I figured it out, I understood. Yeah. And I knew. And so for all the students or college students or even young adults out there, like, you are more capable than you think you are. And especially when you have a solid community around you supporting you and giving you space to talk about your story. Like, you guys listen to me all the time, and I'm sure it's ad nauseum, but, but it's giving me spaces where I can heal from the difficult seasons of being alone in ministry. Like, I don't feel as alone anymore, which is beautiful, but there's still lots of lonely pieces. And so if you're out there feeling alone right incapable, there it is.
Yeah.
We got there. Incapable or underqualified, like, look around you and ask someone else to hold up the mirror, because I don't want to be cliche, but I think with God all things are possible, right?
Yeah.
So
it's cliche for a reason,
right?
Because it's true.
So I think that answers the question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sitting down and sharing about what life as a student pastor is like. And
Crazy.
and giving us a glimpse into your life a little bit. I really appreciate it.